Think about the kid at school who was always the best at everything, the fastest reader, the cleanest handwriting, the first one to raise their hand for every question. Now imagine that kid grows up, gets a job, and keeps doing exactly what made them great in school. They get faster, sharper, more efficient, and then one night, their spouse sits across the dinner table and says, "I feel like I'm living with a stranger." That's the thing nobody warns you about. The same skills that make you excellent at work can quietly make you harder to live with at home. And the strange part is, you won't even notice it happening. Think about a behavior that gets rewarded every single time you do it. After a while, it stops feeling like a choice. You just do it automatically. Your job works the same way on you. Every day, it rewards you for specific behaviors like being fast, staying decisive, keeping calm under pressure, solving the problem before it gets worse, and always moving forward no matter what. You get praised for those things. You get promoted for those things. So your brain learns. This is how I survive. This is how I win. And it starts running those behaviors on autopilot. Now here's where it gets interesting. Those automatic behaviors don't stay at the office. They follow you home. So when your partner walks into the kitchen and starts talking about a hard day, your brain doesn't switch modes. It's still in work mode. It hears a problem, and before your partner even finishes the sentence, you're already building the solution. You feel helpful. They feel dismissed. Neither of you can figure out why. You've probably seen this before, in your own house or someone else's. One person is talking, the other is waiting for them to finish so they can fix it. And the person talking isn't looking for a fix. They're looking to be heard. But work never paid anyone for just listening. Work pays for answers. And that's the gap. At work, a fast answer earns you respect. At home, a fast answer can feel like you're saying, the other person's problem isn't that complicated. Like you're rushing through them to get back to something more important. Now, it's not only about how you respond in conversations. Work is training you to manage your emotions in a very specific way. You can't fall apart in a meeting. You can't show frustration every time something goes wrong. You learn to hold things in, to stay composed, to keep moving. That skill is genuinely valuable. In a boardroom. At home, the rules are different. At home, the people around you actually need to see what's going on inside you. A partner who never shows stress, never seems rattled, never lets anything land, starts to feel less like a person and more like a wall. Solid, reliable, impossible to reach. And the person on the other side of that wall starts quietly doing extra work to compensate. They track the emotional temperature of the house. They remember the small things. They pick up the pieces after tense moments. They soften the edges of conversation so nothing escalates. Nobody asked them to do this. Nobody assigned it. But someone has to, and work built the other person to be too efficient to notice it's happening. That detail becomes important later. But first, watch what this does to the relationship over time. Arguments stop feeling like arguments between two people trying to figure something out. They start feeling like one person closing a ticket and the other person wondering why they feel worse after the conversation than before. One person is trying to get to the solution. The other person needed to feel like the problem actually mattered first. Those two are not the same destination, and when they keep missing each other, closeness starts thinning. Closeness needs a specific kind of attention, the kind where you're not waiting for the conversation to have a point. Work trains you to see that as wasted time. So it quietly disappears, and the couple starts spending a lot of time in the same room doing things next to each other without actually being with each other. Nobody announces it. Nobody names it. It just becomes the texture of the house. We'll come back to the money side of this, but first, let's run the numbers. Say a household is earning $80,000 a year. Evenings are shared. Conversations happen without effort. There's room in the relationship. Then one spouse gets promoted. Income jumps to $130,000. Everyone congratulates them. It looks like a win. But zoom out for a second. That promotion came with a team to manage. More decisions. Meetings that run late. Messages to answer at night. The job didn't just get bigger, it got longer. It now reaches into the hours that used to belong to the marriage. So where does that time go? Into the relationship. The other spouse adjusts. More pickups. More planning. More of the daily running of the house. More emotional labor. Quietly. Without a title change. Without a salary bump. The household gained $50,000. It also lost roughly 2 hours of shared time every evening. That's about 600 hours a year. Run that math and the household sold each of those hours for about $83. That number only counts time. It doesn't count the energy that used to go into the relationship and now goes into recovering from work. It doesn't count the slow disappearance of the conversations that don't have a point, the ones that are just two people being in the same space together without an agenda. That's what margin is: spare room, the ability to be unproductive together. When work expands, margin is the first thing it takes. And here's what happens once margin runs out. There are two kinds of costs in a marriage like this: one that the couple talks about, and one that changes everything without them seeing it. The visible cost is the feeling: disconnected, arguing more or arguing less and feeling further apart, missing each other in the same room. These are the symptoms that bring people to counseling, to long phone calls with friends who don't know what to say. The couple can feel this one. They just can't figure out where it came from. The hidden cost is structural, and this is the one that matters more in the long run. Once the household is built around protecting the working spouse's performance, something quiet shifts. Every major decision starts running through the same unspoken filter. Will this protect the income? Will this protect the career? Will this protect the version of one spouse that the labor market is paying for? Nobody announces this. Nobody sits down and agrees to it, but it starts showing up in every choice the couple makes. The second child gets delayed because the timing would interrupt a critical year at work. The move closer to family gets postponed because the job is here. The vacation gets shortened. The hobby gets dropped. The friendship that needed attention gets quietly neglected. The other spouse's career ambitions get rescheduled around the working spouse's calendar because someone has to be the flexible one, and flexibility has already been assigned without anyone saying so. None of these feel like sacrifices in the moment. Each one has a clean reason. That's how people wake up 10 years later inside a life they never consciously chose, wondering when the marriage stopped being something they were building and started being something they were maintaining. Both people are doing exactly what they said they would do. One is providing, the other is supporting. Both are doing it willingly, and both are participating in an arrangement that slowly converted their marriage into infrastructure for someone else's payroll. The system isn't cruel, it isn't anyone's fault, but it is choosing for them every year in ways they aren't tracking. And this is where the real cost shows up. Not in the distance, in the inability to change anything. A household built around protecting one person's performance has fewer choices available to it every year. It can't easily slow down because too many things depend on the pace. It can't easily change shape because too many things depend on the shape. Downsizing feels impossible. Changing direction feels reckless. The marriage didn't just lose warmth, it lost the ability to choose differently. And that is the thing nobody sees coming when the promotion letter arrives. The attention that was supposed to come never arrives. Conversations that used to wander get converted into logistics. One partner is physically present and structurally absent at the same time, and by the time the couple notices how much it cost, most of it has already been paid. So what is actually going on here when you pull back far enough to see the whole picture? Work and marriage are two different systems. They run on different rules. Work rewards speed, efficiency, emotional control, and output. Marriage runs on something closer to the opposite: slowness, presence, the willingness to sit inside something unresolved without rushing it toward a conclusion. When one person spends 8 hours a day being trained by one system and then comes home to the other system, they're running the wrong software in the wrong room. And the longer they run it, the harder it becomes to switch. And most people don't realize they're doing it. They just think the relationship changed. A marriage doesn't need the most efficient version of you. It needs the version that knows when efficiency is the wrong tool for the room you just walked into. And if you don't learn that, your marriage will slowly start adapting to a version of you that was never built for it. If this gave you a way of seeing things you didn't have before, this is what I do on this channel. I map out the hidden systems shaping your marriage and your money. Most of what's really driving your relationship isn't visible until someone lays it out. That's every video here. Check out my other videos, and I'll see you in the next one.